In this video, I would like to explain to you about SMILE. SMILE stands for Stanford Mobile Inquiry-Based Learning Environment. SMILE is a platform where you will be accessing a variety of types of assessment activities. There are exam mode and case mode and inquiry mode and open mode in SMILE. So depending on the modules that you're working on, at the end of the module, you will have a link to a SMILE activity in one of those 4 different modes. And then you will be engaging in answering questions or creating your own questions or analyzing entrepreneurial business cases, or you will be exchanging ideas with your cohort. So let me start with the exam mode. When you see a link in your learning module to a SMILE activity, you click on the link, you will be shown a page like this. You're invited to join an activity. In AI Sana program, everyone has to have a Gmail account in order to participate. So with your Gmail, that means you're already good to go. So when you see a page, when you click on a link, you can simply click sign in. You may not already have an account, but you do have a Gmail. That means you can authenticate yourself and join the SMILE activity. So you don't need to fill out the email or password. Just come to the bottom of the page where it says sign in with the Google logo. You click on, and then you get to choose your Gmail account. You might have to type in your Gmail login ID and password to the account page where it has a Google logo. Then you'll be joining an activity like this. This is a typical exam mode activity where there's a button called the Take Exam. And as you can see here, you have 25 questions to solve in 45 minutes. These number of questions or the number of minutes may change depending on the assessment. In this case, when you are ready to take the exam, you can come and then start. By clicking on the Start Exam, you will be able to see series of questions and then answer choices. You can simply read the question and then choose the right answer and then click Next. That's how you participate in the exam mode. And be sure to finish your exam in a given time that is indicated here. It says 44 minutes, 35 seconds. So when you're done with all the questions, it will evaluate all your answers and prepare to provide you with AI-powered coaching feedback. So that is the explanation for exam mode. Now we're going to a different mode. This is a case mode of activity. In the case mode, it's similar to the exam mode, where you will see a series of business cases, and then you will be reading the case and then figure out what is wrong with this business strategy, practice, the methods, or the models. Sometimes the business case might present a flaw in the AI model or the interpretation of the results from an AI solution, etc. But it is quite simple and straightforward to read the business case, and you will realize what the problem is because you have learned how to identify those flaws and problems and issues. So when you're ready to start the case mode, you click on this button, Take Case Activity, and then I've done it already before and then kind of abandoned it. I'm coming back, and that's what you will see. This is what you will see. I will disregard the previous attempt and then simply restart. And then in this case, I have 10 attempts remaining. As long as I pass this case mode within 10 attempts, I'm good to go. But I'm sure many of you will be able to pass this at your first attempt. So when you're ready, click on Start Case Activity, and it will load up the very first case. As you can see, This is a description of a business integrating some sort of AI models or data collection methods or the interpretation of the results from AI models, etc. So you will read it. In each case, you have 20 minutes in this particular case. However, the time may vary. So when you're done analyzing, you identify the problem, the issues or flaws. You write them down here in the first box. What are the key flaws or problems in this scenario? You write it up. And then here in the second box, what solutions do you propose? So if you identified a problem from the business case and you have an idea how to address that problem, this is where you're going to be typing up your response. And when you're done, you click on next case to move on to the next case. Typically, you will be given 2 cases per activity. So take your time, read the business scenario, identify the problems, and suggest your solution. And then go to the next case and then do the same. That's how you engage in case studies. Also, there's another activity mode, which is called inquiry mode. When you see an inquiry mode link, you just click on it and you will see a page like this. Probably you will go straight to a particular inquiry activity, not just a group. Wherever you feel you're lost, you go back to your learning material. It could be your segment descriptions or lecture notes. You will find that link to Smile. You click on it. Usually you will come straight to the activity. Or you could look for the naming of the activity. Probably it will say M, indicating module 1.2.2. That means module 1.2.2. And then you can search for it. In this case, this is an inquiry mode. Just like the exam mode and the case mode, there's a start button. You click on the start inquiry, and in this case, you are given 4 minutes to type up your answer, incorporating these 2. So typically you will type in a question incorporating these 2 keywords, vectors and satellite imaging. You do not want to put a question that is simple recall question, like what are vectors and satellite imaging? You could, but you will not be able to pass this activity if your question level is simple recall question. You probably want to type up a question that reflects and demonstrates your understanding with your creativity and critical thinking. So your goal is to enter a question that demonstrates your creativity and critical thinking. However, you must incorporate these 2 keywords. So a question like, if satellite imaging models in your AI solution incorporating vectors, I keep incorporating vectors, give you different outcome compared to the known results, what could be wrong? Something like that. You come up with a question. You can imagine your question and be creative, but you must incorporate these 2 keywords. I just quickly typed up a question here as I was just thinking quickly and talking. So this may not be the best question I can come up with. I probably need to think a little more, but for you, think about creating a question that reflects your learning knowledge and then also these 2 keywords in the most creative way so that you will get the highest score for the question. If you get a minimum score by just typing a simple recall question, you probably will not be able to pass. Once you do that, you click next, it accepted the question, and then now it's presenting 2 keywords. Again, cosine similarity and natural language processing. And if you come up with questions such as, why is cosine similarity, I need to type it correctly. Why is cosine similarity often used in natural language processing, or something like that. A simple question. I probably want to spend a little more time in making this a question even more creative and much higher level critical thinking. But let's just demonstrate what I mean by inquiry mode here. So you keep on typing in your question until you finish. You have 4 minutes or 5 minutes or 10 minutes, whichever the time limit is set for the particular activity of inquiry. You have 5 questions that you have to generate. Each question must incorporate these keywords that are given to you. Typically, there'll be 1 keyword or 2 keywords throughout the AI Sana education program, but you must incorporate these 2 keywords in your question. Otherwise, the system will not accept your question. Here is another set, tensors and recommendation systems. Now, give it a try. If you see keywords like these, enter your question incorporating these 2 keywords, but make sure that your questions are not simple recall question, but higher level question expressing your creativity and critical thinking. We'll probably have a few more times throughout the program to demonstrate how these systems work. So you will have plenty of opportunities to practice. And then there will be multiple attempts you could have. If you fail in the first place, try again. As long as you pass an activity like this, you're good to go. The last activity mode that I'd like to show you is the open mode of inquiry. Similar to the inquiry mode, the open mode gives you the keywords, but in a more relaxed setting. And also, in this open mode, you are required to evaluate your peer questions. In the inquiry mode, you didn't have to evaluate your friends' questions. But in here, you must evaluate your friends' questions, and also you have to respond to your peer questions as well in order to complete this task. That's the big difference between the inquiry mode and open mode. In this particular setting, you must post 3 questions, and also each question must meet the Bloom's level of 3.0, which means that there are 6 levels in Bloom's taxonomy classification. A simple recall question is like, what's the capital city of Kazakhstan? That's a level 1 question for sure. If you do that, you will not be able to pass this. You have to come up with a question that is reflecting and demonstrating at least the level of application or higher. So, which means that you already know the concept or principle and ask a higher level question instead of just simply asking what is the capital of Kazakhstan, which anyone can answer by memorization. But if you ask questions such as, why is Astana the capital of Kazakhstan? That's a different question. That will require much higher level of cognitive functions. And then if you ask questions such as, if China needs to move its capital, which capital city would be the perfect location? Something like that. That would require not just a simple recall, but more advanced logical thinking and reasoning in order to answer that question. So the idea is to generate and formulate a question that requires much higher level of cognition and creativity and critical thinking. Also, the next one here is AI quality score. When you enter a question, the AI will evaluate your question and gives you instant score feedback. And that score is from 1 to 10. And what we are setting up here is that you must generate a question that meets at least level 5.0 or higher from 1 to 10 scale. And then peer ratings. Peer rating means that you have to evaluate at least 3 of your peer questions. when you post your question, you will see your peer questions. So when you come to an activity like this, you'll be able to see other people's questions in the activity. And your goal here is to evaluate 3 of these questions. You can evaluate by giving stars from 1 to 5 stars. And then if I believe that this question deserves a 5 star, then I would give 5 stars. Then I rated this question 5 stars. You have to do 3 of these, like so. And the last one here, last category that you must pass, is that you have to respond your peer questions. So for example, someone asked here, question, how do you change the Q value while improving reward shaping strategy? Assuming that you know what this question means, you will be typing up your response like so. And your response is also evaluated by AI so that you will get immediate response from the AI. So in order to pass the open mode activity, first of all, you have to post 3 questions that are highly critical thinking and creative. Second, you have to all 3 of your questions must be above 3 or higher in terms of Bloom's taxonomy classification. And the next, your question evaluated by AI, it must be 5 or higher in 1 to 10 scale. And you have to evaluate 3 of your peer questions, and you have to respond to 3 of your peer questions. If you do all these 5 things, then you will be able to pass this activity and move on to the next. So in this video, I explained to you what exam mode is, what case mode is, what inquiry mode is, and what open mode is. So Smile is a platform where you will be given an opportunity to exercise and demonstrate your understanding about the the key principles and the concepts that are given by the module that you're studying. And then you will be able to generate questions. You will be answering questions or analyzing business cases or participating in peer evaluation and response to your peer questions. So those are the kinds of activities you will see in AI Sana education program. Hopefully, you'll be able to do successfully on all of these activities and complete the entire program. Best luck to you.